Welcome to my channel. HD Rare Coins 111. In this video I tell you about the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny, which are most valuable and rare. If you interested, please subscribe my channel. Thanks. Top 1. If you love collecting coins, hunting for hidden treasures, or just enjoy learning about the fascinating world of numismatics, then today's video is something you absolutely don't want to miss. We're going to dive deep into a coin that, at first glance, might seem pretty ordinary. But trust me, there's more to the 1975 Lincoln cent than meets the eye. This coin could actually be worth far more than its face value, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why. Let's start with a bit of background. The 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny is part of the long-running series of Lincoln pennies that have been minted since 1909, when the coin was first introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln. Over the years, the design of the Lincoln penny has changed a few times, but the image of the 16th president has always remained on the obverse, and the reverse has gone through a few redesigns too. The 1975 version of this penny was produced during a period when the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce these coins in large quantities for everyday use. As you may know, the penny is one of the most widely circulated coins in the country, so you'd think that finding a 1975 Lincoln penny would be no big deal. But here's where things get interesting. This seemingly common coin could actually be worth a lot more than you think, depending on certain key factors. First, let's talk about what makes the 1975 Lincoln penny stand out. As with any coin, the value is largely determined by its condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors. Most of the 1975 pennies you'll come across in circulation today are likely to be worn down and damaged from years of being tossed around in pockets and piggy banks. A worn-down penny with visible scratches and discoloration is probably worth just its face value, 1 cent. But here's the kicker: a well-preserved, uncirculated penny could be worth a lot more. Coins that have never been in circulation, that have been kept in mint condition, are always more valuable than their worn counterparts. Think about it. In a world where millions of pennies were produced in 1975, the chances of one surviving in perfect condition are slim. That's what makes an uncirculated coin so special. These coins are typically graded on a scale of 1 to 70 by professional graders, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. So if you've got a 1975 Lincoln penny that looks like it just came from the mint, you've got something that's much rarer than your average coin. If your coin is graded as a high-quality specimen, its value could be well beyond the penny's face value. Now, let's take things up a notch. What if your 1975 Lincoln penny has a minting error? This is where things get even more exciting. Mint errors are one of the most thrilling things to look for in coin collecting because they're the kind of thing that make a coin truly unique. And believe it or not, the 1975 penny has been known to have a few notable errors that could make it worth far more than its original value. One of the most sought-after errors for the 1975 penny is a double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin gets misaligned during the minting process, which causes the image of the coin to appear twice or doubled in certain areas. Double dies are highly prized by collectors because they're so rare and distinctive. If you're lucky enough to have a 1975 penny with this type of error, you could be holding something extremely valuable. There are also other types of errors that could increase the value, such as off-center strikes or misaligned dies, both of which could make your penny a one-of-a-kind collector's item. So, what is the 1975 Lincoln penny actually worth? If you've got a regular penny that's been through the ringer and shows signs of wear, it's not going to be worth much more than its face value. But as I mentioned earlier, uncirculated coins are where the real value lies. If you find a 1975 penny in mint condition, it could fetch anywhere from a few dollars to a couple hundred, depending on the grade. However, if your 1975 Lincoln penny happens to have a rare minting error, then the value can jump up exponentially. The most valuable 1975 pennies have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, certain rare examples of 1975 Lincoln pennies, especially those with double die errors, have been sold for as much as $84,000. Yes, that's right, $84,000 for a single 1975 penny. Now, before you start digging through your spare change, it's important to note that not every 1975 penny is going to be worth that kind of money. But if you happen to come across one with a unique minting error or an uncirculated example in exceptional condition, you could be holding a valuable piece of American coinage. So, what should you do if you think you've found a rare 1975 Lincoln penny? First, take a good look at it. Is it in great condition? Does it have any unusual features like a double die or off-center strike? If so, then it's definitely worth having the coin professionally graded. A coin grading service can give you an accurate evaluation of the penny's condition and rarity. If it turns out that your 1975 penny is one of the rare, high-quality examples or has a minting error, you could be in for a very pleasant surprise. To wrap things up, the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like just another coin at first glance, but there's a lot more going on under the surface. Whether it's the coin's condition, its rarity, or the possibility of minting errors, this penny has the potential to be worth much more than you might think. If you're lucky enough to find a 1975 Lincoln penny that's in exceptional condition or has a rare minting error, you could be holding a valuable coin worth as much as $84,000. So, keep your eyes peeled the next time you're going through your change. You might just have a rare treasure in your pocket. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing coin finds. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Top 2. Let's dive into the story behind this seemingly ordinary penny, and uncover what gives it such a high value in the market today. First off, let's set the stage. The United States Mint produces billions of pennies every year, and most of them are pretty much identical, circulating through the economy without much attention. However, when it comes to coins that might have unique characteristics or are in pristine condition, that's when things get interesting. Over the years, collectors have managed to uncover certain rare coins, ones that slip through the cracks of normal circulation and become highly sought after for their rarity, historical significance, or manufacturing errors. The 1980 Lincoln Penny falls into one of these rare categories, and it's caught the attention of people willing to pay top dollar for the right specimen. Before we discuss what specifically makes the 1980 penny valuable, let's first talk about the general characteristics of a Lincoln penny. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. The design features the profile of Lincoln on the obverse, while the reverse originally showcased 2 wheat ears, hence the term wheat penny. In 1959, the design changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, and this continued until the redesign in 2009 to celebrate Lincoln's 200th birthday. The penny has remained relatively unchanged in terms of its composition, which is primarily copper and, more recently, a copper-plated zinc alloy. Now, you might be wondering, why is a 1980 penny so valuable? Well, in 1980, the U.S. Mint produced a large number of pennies. Most of these coins were minted using the standard process, and they entered circulation as usual. However, there were a few factors that made some of the 1980 pennies stand out from the rest. First, let's talk about the condition. Coins that are in exceptional condition, those that haven't been heavily circulated or damaged, are far more valuable. A 1980 penny in uncirculated or near-mint condition is much rarer than most, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these coins. The second factor contributing to the 1980 penny's value comes down to its potential for having a minting error. Minting errors are incredibly important in the world of coin collecting. These can include mistakes like double strikes, off-center designs, or incorrect planchets. When it comes to the 1980 penny, some specimens were struck with errors that make them particularly desirable to collectors. These errors are not common, and finding one of these rare pieces can significantly increase the value of a penny that would otherwise be worth only 1 cent. The 1980 penny can also have value depending on its type of composition. You may have heard about the U.S. government's transition from using mostly copper to using a copper-plated zinc alloy in the early 1980s. In 1982, the Mint officially changed the penny's composition, and many coin collectors seek out pennies from the years just before the switch to find those that were still primarily copper. Although the 1980 penny wasn't the last of the copper-based pennies, it is part of the tail end of that era, making it historically significant. If you have one of these copper versions in pristine condition, it could potentially be worth much more than its face value. Let's not forget about the rarity of certain die varieties. When the US Mint uses a die to strike coins, those dies can wear out or be damaged, which sometimes causes unusual designs to appear on coins. With the 1980 penny, there are certain die varieties that stand out as particularly rare. These varieties can include slightly different designs or misprints that make the coin more unique. Because these varieties aren't commonly found in circulation, they are highly valued by collectors who are always on the lookout for something that sets a coin apart from the rest. So, with all these factors combined, condition, potential minting errors, and historical significance, what can you expect the 1980 Lincoln Penny to be worth? In typical circumstances, a regular 1980 penny in circulated condition is worth only 1 cent, just like any other penny in your pocket. However, if you happen to find a 1980 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one that shows no signs of wear, it could be worth much more. In fact, certain versions of this penny, particularly those with minting errors, have been known to sell for as much as $70,000 in the right market. That's right, $70,000 in words. That's the kind of value that can come with just one penny. But it's important to remember that the vast majority of 1980 pennies you come across will not fetch that kind of price. The ones that do are incredibly rare, in flawless condition, and feature specific errors or variations that make them valuable to collectors. If you have a 1980 penny in your collection, it might just be worth a closer look. In conclusion, the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just a regular coin. It's a piece of history, with the potential to hold significant value for those who are fortunate enough to find a rare specimen. While most pennies from that year won't be worth much, the few that have survived in excellent condition or with minting errors could fetch an eye-popping price in today's market. So, the next time you find a 1980 penny, take a moment to inspect it closely. You never know, it might just be worth more than you think. Top 3. The 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like a typical coin that you might find at the bottom of your pocket or lying around in a coin jar, but to collectors and enthusiasts, it's far from ordinary. While most pennies circulating today are worth exactly 1 cent, certain years and specific versions of pennies hold immense value in the world of coin collecting. The 1981 Lincoln Penny, in particular, is one of those coins that has captivated the attention of collectors due to its rarity, historical significance, and potential for unique variations that can make it worth far more than face value. At first glance, a 1981 Lincoln Penny might look like just another coin minted during the early 1980s, and you'd be right to assume that. However, it's important to understand that some years of production, including 1981, were subject to changes in the minting process and the materials used. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies made primarily of copper, before transitioning to a more copper-plated zinc alloy in 1982. This small shift in composition, though seemingly insignificant at the time, would eventually lead to a shift in how collectors viewed older copper pennies. The U.S. Mint produced over 6 billion 1-cent coins in 1981, and the vast majority of those coins have long since circulated, passed through countless hands, and been subjected to the wear and tear of daily life. But among those billions of pennies, there are a select few that stand out due to their condition, minting errors, or specific characteristics that make them valuable. For coin collectors, it's often the rarity and uniqueness of these pennies that push their value far beyond the typical 1-cent price tag. Before we dive into what makes the 1981 Lincoln Penny worth a significant amount of money, let's take a closer look at the coin itself. Like most pennies, the 1981 Lincoln Penny features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front side, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back side. This design had been in use since 1959 and was in production for several decades before being replaced by a new reverse design in 2009, marking the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth. So, while the 1981 penny may not have the same design flair as some other rare coins, it's still a piece of American history that draws in collectors due to its connection to the past. Now, here's where things get interesting. In the world of coin collecting, it's not just the coin's design or composition that determines its value, it's also the condition of the coin, the potential for minting errors, and the availability of particular die varieties that can make one coin worth exponentially more than another. In the case of the 1981 Lincoln Penny, one of the primary reasons some of these coins can fetch such high prices comes down to their condition. Coins that are in uncirculated or mint state are far more valuable than those that have been circulated for years, losing their shine and becoming worn or damaged. So, if you happen to come across a 1981 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, one that has never been used in everyday transactions, it can already be worth more than face value. But it doesn't stop there. Minting errors are another factor that can send a 1981 penny's value soaring. While most pennies from this year are fairly standard, the US Mint occasionally makes mistakes during production, and these errors can make coins highly sought after by collectors. For example, some 1981 pennies were struck with double dies or misaligned designs, causing the features on the coin to appear blurry, doubled, or slightly off-center. These errors are extremely rare, and finding a 1981 penny with a noticeable minting error can significantly increase its worth. A double die or off-center 1981 penny could potentially bring in a hefty sum, especially if the error is particularly pronounced or if the coin is in excellent condition. In addition to minting errors, another aspect that plays a role in the 1981 penny's value is its rarity. The US Mint produced billions of pennies that year, but a small number of these coins were struck with unique die varieties. These die varieties could include slight differences in the design of the Lincoln Memorial or the date, and while the differences may seem minor, they are highly valued by those in the numismatic community. Collectors often seek out these subtle variations, as they are seen as rarities that can be difficult to find, even after decades of searching. Now, you're probably wondering, what kind of price could you expect to get if you happen to have a 1981 Lincoln Penny in your collection? While most of the pennies from this year will not be worth much more than their face value, certain high-quality, error-free specimens or coins with significant die varieties can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. A 1981 penny in mint condition, or one with a rare minting error, could potentially bring in a significant amount of money at auction or through a private sale. In fact, if you manage to find a well-preserved 1981 penny with one of those rare minting errors, you could be looking at a coin worth up to $67,000 in words. Yes, you heard that right. $67,000. That's the kind of value that can turn a simple penny into a life-changing find. Of course, not every 1981 penny will be worth that much. Only the most pristine, rare, or error-struck examples will reach those kinds of figures. But it's a reminder of just how much value some coins can hold, especially when they possess that special combination of rarity, condition, and uniqueness. So, the next time you dig through your spare change or go through a roll of pennies, don't overlook the 1981 Lincoln Penny. It may seem like just another penny, but in the right condition or with the right error, it could be worth far more than you expect. Keep an eye out for those rare finds. You never know when you might stumble across a coin that could be worth a small fortune. Top 4. The 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like just another coin you'd find in your pocket or your spare change jar, but for coin collectors and enthusiasts, it's a lot more than that. It's easy to overlook these pennies as nothing more than everyday currency, but there's more to this little piece of American history than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone who occasionally browses through old coins, the 1985 Lincoln Penny is worth a closer look, especially if you happen to come across a rare specimen. Let's start with a bit of context. The Lincoln Penny, one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in U.S. history, has seen many different designs and changes over the years. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's centennial birth anniversary, the Lincoln Penny originally featured 2 wheat ears on its reverse side. However, in 1959, the design was changed to include the Lincoln Memorial, which remained the coin's reverse design until 2009 when it was replaced with a series of designs celebrating Lincoln's life. In 1985, the Lincoln Penny was still using the classic reverse, with the Lincoln Memorial proudly displayed. The coin continued to be composed mostly of copper, a metal that was increasingly being phased out in favor of copper-plated zinc alloy as the decade wore on. That said, the 1985 penny, along with its counterparts from the early 1980s, holds a certain significance for collectors because it marks the tail end of an era when pennies were still made primarily of copper. But what makes the 1985 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting? Why do certain 1985 pennies hold a value far beyond their 1-cent face value? The answer lies in the rarity of certain coins, the condition they are in, and, sometimes, the unique errors or variations that make them stand out from the rest. First, let's talk about condition. As with most coins, the value of a 1985 Lincoln penny depends heavily on how well it has been preserved. A penny that has been circulated for decades, rubbed against other coins, and exposed to the elements will show signs of wear and tear. It might have scratches, discoloration, or other imperfections, making it only worth a penny. However, if you find a 1985 penny in near-perfect or uncirculated condition, one that looks as though it was just minted, this can significantly increase its value. Coins that are kept in pristine condition, especially those that have never been touched by circulation, are considered highly valuable by collectors. These uncirculated coins are often graded by professional grading services, with coins that receive higher grades being worth much more. A 1985 penny in mint condition, for example, could be valued at several dollars instead of just 1 cent. But we're not just talking about the condition of the coin. There's another factor that can turn this seemingly ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Minting errors are another key factor that can cause the 1985 penny to stand out in the world of coin collecting. As much as the U.S. Mint strives for perfection, errors can and do occur during the minting process. These errors can range from minor mistakes to more noticeable ones, and they are highly prized by collectors because they are so rare. Some 1985 pennies were struck with double dies, meaning the design on the coin was stamped more than once, creating a blurry or doubled image of Lincoln's profile or the memorial. Others may have been struck off-center, resulting in a coin with part of the design missing or misaligned. These errors can make the coin appear unique and different from the rest of the batch, and collectors often pay handsomely for them. Then there's the matter of die varieties. The U.S. Mint uses specific dies to stamp the design onto coins, and sometimes, these dies can experience wear or slight variations during production. The result? A subtle difference in the design that might go unnoticed by the average person, but is highly sought after by coin collectors. A 1985 Lincoln penny with a rare die variety could be worth much more than a standard version, even if the coin looks fairly normal to the naked eye. Die varieties aren't always easy to spot, but with a trained eye or the help of a coin expert, these variations can be identified, adding another layer of rarity and value to the coin. So, how much can a 1985 Lincoln penny be worth? Well, it all depends on the condition, the presence of minting errors, and whether or not the coin has any rare die varieties. While the vast majority of 1985 pennies in circulation will only be worth 1 cent, if you happen to find a penny in uncirculated condition, or one with a notable minting error or rare die variety, you could be looking at a much higher value. Some collectors have been known to pay substantial amounts for coins with these special characteristics. A 1985 penny with a significant minting error or in perfect condition has been known to fetch up to $63,000 in words. That's right, $63,000 for a single penny. While it's important to remember that not every 1985 penny will fetch this amount, it's a reminder of how much value can be hidden in coins that we might otherwise overlook. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, even the most ordinary-looking pennies can hold incredible value. So, the next time you go through your spare change or dig through some old rolls of coins, keep an eye out for a 1985 Lincoln penny. It could be the key to a surprising find that's worth far more than just a cent. In the end, the 1985 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how rare coins can turn up in the most unexpected places. Whether it's the pristine condition, a rare minting error, or a subtle die variety, this small coin holds a world of value for the right collector. And who knows? The 1985 penny in your pocket could be worth a whole lot more than you ever imagined. Top 5. The 1991 Lincoln 1-cent penny might seem like just another coin that you casually toss into your change jar or pocket without a second thought. But to seasoned coin collectors, it's a piece of American history that could be worth much more than a penny. In fact, this particular penny holds a surprising level of interest in the world of numismatics. While most of us probably think of pennies as nothing more than small, insignificant denominations, certain years, especially those with unique characteristics, can prove to be worth thousands of dollars. The 1991 Lincoln Penny is one of those coins. You may be wondering, what makes the 1991 penny so special, and why would it be worth a considerable amount of money? Let's dig into the story behind this coin and uncover what gives it its rare value. The Lincoln Penny, which has been in circulation since 1909, is one of the most iconic and recognizable coins in the United States. Featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, front, side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, back, side, the design has undergone a few changes over the years, but the penny has remained a staple of U.S. currency. In 1991, the penny still featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial design, which had been used since 1959, and it was made of copper-plated zinc, a composition that became the standard for pennies after 1982. But what makes the 1991 Lincoln Penny a coin of interest to collectors? The answer lies in its rarity, condition, and potential for errors that could make certain coins worth much more than their face value. Like all coins, the 1991 penny was mass-produced by the U.S. Mint, with billions of pennies entering circulation that year. Most of these pennies were used in everyday transactions, and over time, they became worn and damaged. But there are always a few coins that stand out from the crowd, and the 1991 Lincoln Penny is no exception. If you happen to find one that's in excellent condition or possesses an unusual characteristic, you could be holding on to a rare and valuable piece of currency. One of the most important factors in determining the value of any coin is its condition. A 1991 penny that has been circulated extensively, scratched, discolored, or otherwise worn down, is not going to be worth much beyond its 1-cent face value. However, if you happen to come across a 1991 penny that has been carefully preserved and is in uncirculated condition, the value could be significantly higher. Uncirculated coins are highly sought after because they have not been exposed to the typical wear and tear that coins undergo when they are used in transactions. These coins are fresh from the mint and often still have a sharp, pristine appearance, making them much more valuable to collectors than their well-worn counterparts. But condition is only one part of the equation. Another critical factor that can increase the value of a 1991 penny is the potential for minting errors. The U.S. Mint, despite its precision, sometimes makes mistakes during the coin production process. These minting errors are rare, and when they occur, they create coins that are highly collectible. Some of the 1991 pennies were struck with double dies, meaning that the design was stamped more than once, causing parts of the image to be duplicated or blurry. Other pennies may have been struck off-center, meaning that part of the coin's design was missing or misaligned. These kinds of errors make a coin unique and rare, and collectors will pay a premium for them. Another potential reason the 1991 penny can be worth more than face value is its role in the history of the U.S. Mint's coin production. The early 1990s saw some significant changes in the way coins were produced, and the 1991 penny is part of that transitional period. While most pennies from the 1990s were made from copper-plated zinc, certain variations of the 1991 penny may have been struck with slightly different dies or equipment, leading to subtle variations in the design. These variations might be difficult for the average person to notice, but for experienced collectors, these small differences can make the coin valuable. As for the value of the 1991 penny, it's important to understand that most of the coins from this year will still be worth only 1 cent, just like any other penny you might find. However, if you manage to find a 1991 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition or one with a significant minting error, the coin's value could be much higher. Rarely, these coins have sold for as much as $53,000 in words. That's right, $53,000. Imagine that a single penny, once worth only 1 cent, could potentially fetch such a high price. Of course, this kind of value is reserved for only the rarest and most pristine examples, but the fact that a 1991 penny can reach such a high price is a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting. So, what should you do if you come across a 1991 penny in your spare change or while going through a collection of old coins? First, take a close look at its condition. If the coin is in excellent shape and appears to be uncirculated, it may be worth more than you think. Then, check for any obvious minting errors. Look for signs of a double die, where the design appears doubled, or an off-center strike where part of the design is misaligned. If you spot one of these errors, it could increase the value of the penny significantly. In conclusion, while most 1991 Lincoln pennies won't fetch a fortune, there are certain specimens that stand out as rare and highly valuable. Whether it's a pristine uncirculated coin, a penny with a minting error, or one that possesses a unique die variety, the 1991 penny holds the potential to be worth much more than its face value. So, the next time you find a 1991 Lincoln penny in your pocket or your collection, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be holding on to a rare coin worth a whole lot more than 1 cent.